What's up, y'all? As you can see, I'm out here at the range again. Been out here all day long having a lot of fun doing some very interesting testing, and this one right here is another 22 test that was requested. So our jelly contraptions clocked in for work as usual. We got the chrono, got 2 blocks of gel out here. Now I've done a few tests already in this far block. I've got them flipped around, but some of them escaped up here into this block pretty far. So I should have plenty of room though. As you can see, got plenty of room up here on this block. Once again, we are including the heavy clothing barrier on this. I've got 1 layer of denim, I've got 1 layer of fleece, and I've got 2 layers of cotton t-shirt material. So this is actually going to be the first test I've done with the punch. I don't expect any problem with it because it's a solid, but it'll still be interesting to see what happens. But what we're checking out here today, like I said, is a couple rounds that was requested. We got the Federal Punch. Y'all all familiar with this one? 22 LR, 29 grain, flat, solid projectile. Very, very nice round to use out of short barrels as we've seen in the past. And then what we're putting up against it is these Browning BPR performance rimfires. These are 40 grain plated hollow points, as you can see here. So really not a versus here. I really wouldn't call it a versus because we all know this punch is going to out penetrate that, and there's no question as long as that expands. Now if it clogs up, who knows what'll happen. We may see anything happen here, but really not a apples to apples kind of thing here. But these are the rounds that were requested, so this is what I'm using. And then as far as the tool we're using, we're bringing out the good old trusty Taurus TX22 with the 4-inch barrel. But this one ought to be pretty interesting. I've got an idea of what we're going to see here. The punch is going to do what it always does. It's probably going to go out somewhere about 16 inches of penetration, 14 to 16 inches. Now the BPR, on the other hand, I guess it just depends on whether or not it clogs. So let me get this stuff set up and let's check these things out. All right, y'all, let's get us some speeds on these rounds. I'm gonna do a 5-round average on each one of them. I'm gonna start with the Federal Punch first. These things should be around 1400 or so if I, remembering back to what these things run out of the TX22. Well, let's see what we get. We got an error. Got 1300, 1289, 1274. 1278. Let me get one more. All right, last one. And 1304. So let's go down there and check that average. All right, so our 5-round average from the Federal Punch is 1289 feet per second. That's a little bit lower than what we've seen in the past, but the weather is definitely a lot different right now than some of the times we've tested in the past. So 1289 on the punch. So let me get this reset and let's check them BPRs. All right, here we go. 5 rounds of this BPR 40 grain. I suspect these are going to be right much slower, but we'll see what we get here. 1079. Error. 1074. 1067. 1066. Let me get us one more. All right, last one. And 1105, so let's check the average on those. All right, so our 5-round average on the BPRs was 1078 feet per second. And if you remember out of those punch, it was 1289. So you talking about 211 feet per second faster out of that punch. That's just where the punch shines always. There's nothing that can touch the speed out of this punch round, out of these shorter barrels, just nothing at all. So should be interesting to see what these things do in the gel. Let me get this reset and y'all know what time it is. All right, y'all, let's punch through the denim jelly time. I'm gonna put one of each round down into the gel. We're gonna start with the Federal Punch first. Let's see if the punch does what it usually does. Ah, it came out the side, that's for sure. Let me get another round. All right, y'all, let's try that one again. All right, that should be perfect right there. Let's go down there and check that one out. All right, that right there is where I wanted to put it the first time. So if we can put this BPR up under that one, we'll be in good shape. All right, I think that should be absolutely perfect. Let's go down there and check these out. All right, y'all, let's check out what we got down here. Pretty much exactly what I expected to see here. This one right here, that's the punch. As you can see, it comes in here. Right in here, I'm assuming is where it tumbled around, because you got a lot of nice wound action right here, nice disruption. Carries on in and then stops right there at the second block. So right at 16 inches of penetration, and it is turned around backwards. So that's why I say I imagine that's probably where it tumbled around right there. Now the BPR on the other hand, that's the one on the bottom here. It came in, looks like it got a nice little bit of disruption there. I can't tell if it's turned around backwards yet or not. It does have a little bit of deformation on one end, so it looks like it may be turned around backwards. If so, that's probably what that little disruption area right there is, but way less penetration out of this thing. I mean, you're talking about just barely over half of the penetration that the Federal Punch got. The punch is easy. It's just barely poking into that second block. So 16 inches of penetration is what that punch has. The BPR, it's sitting at 10.5, so well short of the punch as far as penetration, which honestly, that's what I expected to see. Here's a little quick look from above. As you can see, the punch on the top, the BPR on the bottom, just absolutely no comparison. The BPR's got a little bit of disruption action right here, but nothing like this punch. As you can see, the BPR comes to rest down there. I think that may be turned around backwards, and then the punch keeps on trucking all the way right here to this second block. All right, y'all, let's take a look at the projectiles here. So obviously right here's the punch, completely intact, no deformation at all. This is pretty much what you always see the punch looking like. And then over here's that BPR. It actually did squish out a little bit. I'm actually surprised it even did that much, to be honest with you, at the speeds it was moving, but it did squish out a little bit. It's got a few little clothing fibers inside there, but honestly, I don't think the clogging is what stopped it from expanding more than that. I just don't think it had enough velocity. It's really meant for longer barrels anyway. I'm pretty sure we didn't have any material loss, but let's check them anyway. The BPR is sitting at 40.2 and it started at 40, so nothing lost there. The punch started at 29 and it's sitting at exactly 29.9, so no loss on either one of them. Now, as far as expansion, this is going to be very uneventful here. The punch had absolutely none, so obviously your biggest part here is going to be the base of the projectile at 0.22. So there's your punch, and then this BPR here, I'm pretty sure it's probably no bigger than 0.22. It may be a hair bigger. Yeah, we got a little out of that, 234 and 242, so a little bit of mushrooming action on that one there. But that's about all there is to talk about on these two here, y'all. The punch, it did what it always does. Fantastic penetration, great velocity. These BPRs, not a bad round by any means. And again, we're putting this up against something that is meant for a shorter barrel. This is definitely not meant for a shorter barrel, so you know, it's at a disadvantage. That being said, it did put in a valiant effort there, but it just ain't meant for shorter barrels like this. All right, y'all, that right there is going to do it for another pretty interesting 22 LR video. This one went pretty much how I expected it to go. That Federal Punch is just so good out of shorter barrels. It's hard to get anything to match the performance of that thing out of shorter barrels like that. Now, that being said, the BPR did put in a valiant performance. It did all it could do with what it had to work with. I suspect it would be a whole lot nicer performance out of a longer barrel. But what I can personally say is if I were ever going to use a 22 LR for self-defense, it would take me about 2 seconds to figure out which round to load. That Federal Punch, in my opinion, is absolutely unmatched if you're going to use a 22 LR for personal defense. But y'all let me know what y'all's thoughts are down in the comments. Do any of y'all out there use this BPR in a shorter barrel like this? Do you use it in longer barrels? Let me know what your experience is with it. If you did enjoy this video, take a second if you would and reach down and hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you click that bell notification so you can hopefully get notified when I upload new stuff. Take a second while you're doing some shopping and check out my affiliate links in the video description. You know the deal with that Amazon. If you shop through there anyway, hit up that link down there. You'll go straight through Amazon like normal, and anything you buy after that, I get a kickback from them towards the channel. Same goes for those Axle links. If you're in the market for some fantastic ear pro, hit up those links down below and you can save a pile of money right now instead of going straight through their site. As always, I appreciate all my Range Gang members and every single one of y'all out there for supporting the channel. Looks like we're losing daylight quick, so that's probably going to be it for me. I got a lot of good stuff done today, so y'all make sure y'all stay on the lookout for that. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see you soon.